William, how would you assess your season in comparison to maybe some of seasons past? Obviously, you set career highs this year. The consistency was there. How would you assess this season maybe to last year?
Yeah, better from my standpoint, I think. I think I'm going out to this season as a better player, a more confident player in my game, and I improved some things that I wanted to improve, and now it's just about to continue improving those stuff.
I know I mentioned the leadership to you yesterday. How do you feel the group as a whole just kind of led by example? I mean, it didn't matter who it was, whether it was Toffoli or Gaudreau or even Macklin or Will at times and yourself. Do you feel the group just kind of led and just collectively tried to move forward this season?
I think so, yeah. We have a lot of future leaders in there and a couple leaders right now who's been good at stepping up. So I think throughout the summer here we're gonna see some more guys coming in and be big leaders here.
What's your schedule? When do you plan to head to Sweden? Obviously, it's home for you, which is extra exciting. How long do you plan to stay in California before heading out to Sweden?
A couple of days here. Probably leave Sunday, Monday, somewhere there. Go back to Sweden, get ready for a little pre-tournament there, and then ready for the Worlds.
You hoping to stay on the same line with Alex and have some chemistry there?
Yeah, that'll be fun. We'll see what happens, but we know each other.
So, William, one of the big additions here to your game this season is the physical element of it. Better on fights, better on board, and even had your first fight. So, how comfortable are you feeling now with your game overall?
Really confident. I feel like it's. As you said, I wanted to be more physical. I wanted to be better on the boards, and now my next step is to take it even further and go more to the net and be around that net to get some of those greasy goals, and that's what I'm going to work on.
What are you going to work on specifically this summer?
Yeah, I think my shot is always a thing I want to improve a little bit. I've always been a pass-first guy in my whole career, and I think my shot is getting better and better, and I want to score more goals in this league, and it's a hard league to score in, so I'm going to learn how to score in different ways, and that's what I'm going to work on.
You guys have talked about the third periods this year, how many games you guys led were so close in this year. Just in your opinion, where does this team need to improve the most in terms of protecting those leads and making sure you finish off some of these wins?
I think it's a lot about have a lot of confidence going into that third period. We got to find ways to close out games when it matters the most. And obviously we lost a lot of games by 1 or 2 goals this season. It's been really frustrating compared to last year when I feel like we weren't really there all the games. And this year I'm like we're almost in every game. And that's something we got to learn here, young core and young group. So I'm gonna take that with me in the summers too and use that as a motivation to. We always going to be ready for the whole 60 minutes.
Is there more of a feeling? I mean, we went through this last year with the Sharks, and after a tough year, is there more of a feeling of optimism now as you go through this process of exit interviews and leaving the facility here? There's more of a feeling of optimism going into next season, maybe.
For sure. Obviously we had some guys doing really good things this year, improving a lot. So. I'm really optimistic about the future here. I'm proud to be here and I want to be here. So it's just fun to be around the guys in here, and I want us to have success in the future.
How much would it mean to you to see your brother drafted by the Sharks?
Yeah, it's something I can't control really, but obviously it would be cool to have him here. He's a real hard worker, and I know what he brings every day. I've seen it on a daily basis. So. Every team who's going to be drafting him is going to be happy.
He's a second-ranked international skater by Central Scouting. Where were you on that list?
First.
What makes him such a good player? I mean, how is he? What is his game? What does he bring to a team?
I think he brings that, little Travis Connected type of player. That's how I would describe him. He's in your face. He's a little pain in the ass, but he's also like he works his ass off for his teammates. He blocks shots. He scores goals, and he's I would say he's a great competitive guy. A guy who's gonna bring it every day. He's gonna be working the hardest in the gym and always be there. And that's what I love about him. He always works hard.
What do you tell them about this process coming up? The next couple of months before the draft, you unfortunately didn't get a
No.
in-person draft. How exciting will that be for him just to be part of that, I guess, in LA this year?
Yeah, it's I'm just telling him to enjoy the moments. This moment doesn't come back. Obviously I didn't have the exactly same as him, but obviously it's gonna be cool, a special moment for him in his career, and it's just the beginning.
We were talking to Will Smith a few minutes ago, and he said a year ago him and Mac were heated rivals, in college. Now they're almost inseparable. What have you seen just in terms of their growth, their friendship here over this year?
A lot, obviously, and they've been great this year. They've been working hard. They've been, they're in the gym. They're working. They want to get better, and they want to find ways to get out of this a little bit. And I feel like that's a huge thing coming from those young guys. And I think they're going to be a great player for this franchise.
I think you're eligible for an extension this offseason. I don't know what Sharks have in mind, but is that something you'd be open to, maybe signing an extension this offseason, or how do you see things?
Yeah, I'm not going to go further into that now. I haven't, season is ended. But obviously I want to be here, so I'm not going to go further into that.
Do you and your family plan to be here in LA for the draft?
Yeah, we do.
For yourself, obviously, when Fabian was traded, that was a pretty emotional time for you. How do you feel from that point on? You kind of just mentally battled and kind of got yourself back to where you wanted to. How do you assess how you handled that situation and move forward from it?
Yeah, obviously it was a tough moment for me. It was something that I had to go through, and it was not easy, but coming out today, I think it's make me a little bit stronger throughout the season. You learn how to handle those things, and hopefully get better out of it.
So you an Ottawa Senators fan for the playoffs this year?
I am. I'm going to root for them, hopefully. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Senators Stars finals, what I'm going to guess that you want, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun. Those deserve it.
Well, do you have a goal in mind in terms of adding some weight or just some muscle, or I don't know if you had those conversations yet with the training staff here, but just anything like that for you this summer?
I don't know. It's also like I want to, maybe some pounds. I don't know, but still, I still want to keep my quickness out there. I think I'm a player that I know my game. I know my game out there, and I know quickness is a big thing of it, and I can't be too heavy out there.
I'm curious to see what the Sharks do this offseason. I mean, there's a lot of cap space to play with, some players. How do the Sharks, are you excited to see what happens this offseason?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm probably most excited I've been. Coming into this offseason, I feel like it's a lot of openings for us, and it's gonna be fun to see what the camp. I'll be ready. It's gonna be fun.